Ever find yourself glued to those behind-the-scenes factory tours? Like mesmerized by the machinery and how things are made?
Hmm. Hmm.
Me too.
Hmm.
Today's deep dive takes us right into the heart of that world, exploring the fascinating role of tool and die makers. We've got some really cool insights from RoleCatcher, the career development platform, to help us kind of break it down.
It's a field that often flies under the radar, but these skilled tradespeople are the unsung heroes of precision engineering.
Right. I mean, we're talking about the folks who build the tools that build other things. It's like the ultimate form of inception, but with metal and machinery. Speaking of which, RoleCatcher emphasizes that tool and die makers aren't just button pushers. They describe them as artisans, which I love. They're taking raw materials and shaping them into these incredibly precise tools and dies.
And what's fascinating here is that those dies are essentially specialized cookie cutters for metal. Only instead of making fun shapes, they're stamping out intricate parts for everything from car doors to smartphone components.
It's where craftsmanship meets cutting-edge tech, right? Because we're not just talking about traditional hand tools here. RoleCatcher highlights the importance of CNC machining in this field.
Absolutely. CNC stands for Computer Numerical Control, which means you're programming complex designs directly into the machines. So you need that blend of traditional hands-on skill with a deep understanding of digital design and automation.
So you're worried about robots taking over. Well, RoleCatcher suggests tool and die makers are in HIH demand, even with automation on the rise. Job security is a big plus here.
Precisely. And while we're on the topic of job security, RoleCatcher is also upfront about the work environment. It can be demanding noise, potential hazards, the whole 9 yards.
So maybe not the best career if you're sensitive to noise, but hey, at least you'll have some epic shop stories to tell, right?
Absolutely. But on a serious note, the source really emphasizes the importance of safety protocols in this field.
Rightfully so. Proper training and following those safety measures are non-negotiable when you're dealing with heavy machinery and potentially hazardous materials. But speaking of training, let's talk career progression. One thing I found super interesting in the RoleCatcher Guide is the breakdown of career stages. It's like a roadmap for growth in this field.
It's a great way to visualize the potential, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at the entry level, it seems like a lot of assisting, learning the ropes from more experienced makers, kind of like an apprenticeship, right?
Exactly. You're absorbing everything you can, learning to operate the tools, understanding the design specs, getting a feel for the materials. It's very hands-on.
Then as you progress to that intermediate stage,
Right.
you start to take on more independent design work. You're not just following instructions anymore. You're applying your knowledge to solve problems and create solutions.
And what's really cool is that RoleCatcher mentions collaborating with engineering teams at this level. It becomes much more collaborative, working together to turn those designs into reality.
And then you hit the senior level. Now you're the master craftsperson, leading projects, mentoring the next generation. Talk about job satisfaction. You've literally built your way to the top.
It's an incredible career arc when you think about it, and it all starts at that blend of formal education and hands-on training.
So how does one become a master of metal? RoleCatcher suggests it's a mix of hitting the books and getting those hands dirty.
You got it. They mention a high school diploma being typical, but they really hammer home the importance of apprenticeships and vocational training.
Which makes sense, right? You could study designs and blueprints all day, but there's no substitute for actually working with the materials, getting a feel for the tools.
Exactly. And honestly, making those mistakes in a safe learning environment, under the guidance of seasoned pros, that's invaluable. RoleCatcher even has a whole section on gaining hands-on experience.
Okay, let's unpack that. What kind of advice are they serving up?
Well, they're big on internships, for one. It's a chance to put your skills to the test in a real-world setting and make those industry connections early on.
It's like a proving ground for aspiring tool makers.
Precisely. And here's a thought. They also suggest exploring makerspaces or fabrication labs. It's a more accessible way to get your hands on equipment, experiment, and start building your portfolio.
That's brilliant, because you're not just telling potential employers what you know. You're showing them, hey, look at this intricate thing I designed and built.
It's about demonstrating that passion and initiative.
Yeah.
And speaking of tools for success, we can't forget about RoleCatcher itself.
Right. We've been diving deep into their insights. But the platform itself is like a secret weapon for anyone serious about this career path.
It's true. Imagine having a database of thousands of interview questions specifically for tool and die makers. RoleCatcher has that. It's like having a cheat sheet for your career journey.
Okay, that's huge. Talk about going into an interview feeling prepared and confident. Were there any other role catcher features that blew your mind?
Their AI-powered CV and resume tailoring is a game changer. It's not just about listing your skills, it's about showcasing them in a way that grabs the attention of hiring managers in today's competitive job market.
It's like having a personal marketing team for your career.
Exactly. And honestly, that kind of proactive preparation can make all the difference. Now, before we move on, there's one more nugget from RoleCatcher that I want to unpack. They emphasize the demand for tool and die makers across multiple industries.
You know, that really surprised me too. When I think of this field, I picture giant factories, assembly lines, that classic industrial setting. But it sounds like these skills are transferable to a much wider range of industries.
Here's where it gets really interesting. With technology evolving so rapidly, the need for precision tooling is expanding beyond just mass production. Think about fields like aerospace, robotics, even renewable energy. They all require highly specialized tools and components.
Wow, that makes so much sense. I never would have connected the dots myself. But of course, those industries need incredibly precise, custom-made tools. It's about precision engineering, no matter the industry. It's like their work is hiding in plain sight everywhere we look.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us the examples. Where else are these skills in demand? What does it look like in action?
Well, let's take the aerospace industry, for instance. You've got these incredible lightweight materials being used in aircraft construction, things like carbon fiber composites. You need highly specialized tools to shape and mold those materials with the precision that aerospace demands.
It's like those tools are literally helping to build the future of flight.
Exactly. And then you've got robotics. We're talking about incredibly intricate mechanisms, tiny gears, sensors, actuators. All those components have to be assembled with absolute accuracy. That's where tool and die makers come in, crafting the tools that make that level of precision possible.
And with the push for renewable energy. I bet we're talking about specialized tools for manufacturing solar panels, wind turbine components, all of that.
You're right on the money. The demand for tool and die makers in the renewable energy sector is booming. It's a really exciting time to be in this field, knowing that the tools you're creating are contributing to a more sustainable future.
Wow, that gives me chills. It's like they're shaping the future, one precision tool at a time. So for someone listening who's drawn to this blend of hands-on skill and cutting-edge technology, someone who loves the idea of building things that last, what's the key takeaway here?
The takeaway is, this isn't just a job, it's a passport to a world of possibilities. You're not limited to just one industry. You could find yourself working on the next generation of aircraft, building robots that improve our lives, or even contributing to a greener planet.
It's more than just metal and machines. It's about ingenuity, problem solving, and leaving your mark on the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This deep dive has been eye-opening. We've uncovered the artistry behind tool and die making, explored the diverse career paths it offers, and learned how these essential skills are shaping the future in ways we might never have imagined. If you're fascinated by the hidden world of precision engineering, this is definitely a field to keep on your radar. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one crafting the tools that build a brighter tomorrow. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.